Okay, everyone, welcome back. So, I just uploaded a video talking about the situation that's going on with Chris and MrBeast. And I would really recommend going and watching that first because I kind of explain what is going on with MrBeast and Chris. I'm aware that there's this video by this YouTuber, SunnyV2, which has gone down awfully, and it is called Why Chris Will Soon Be a Nightmare for MrBeast. So, what I've done is I've just filmed talking about the situation at hand. I'm not going to watch this, and then after that, we're going to watch D'Angelo Wallace has came back to YouTube and uploaded a video kind of talking about everything, and I love D'Angelo, and he always does a good job, and I mean, he's broke like his YouTube in silence, so we're going to watch that as well, but I want to watch this video. I mean, I was literally in the middle of filming the video about D'Angelo, but I want to watch this video and get my own opinion of it first, so we're going to get into it. A 9-minute video from SunnyV2, I mean, appearingly has very good feedback from the amount of fucking likes, which is disgusting if this is going to be like an incredibly transphobic, homophobic video. But anyway, let's get into it. I have no real idea of what I'm getting into other than this video has not gone down well.
Chris Tyson's situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast's brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will
The drama, by the way, being someone in MrBeast's close circle, feeling more comfortable with their gender identity. But if y'all want to call that drama, okay.
Impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began...
How will MrBeast's brand feeling more comfortable with their gender affect MrBeast's success? Go fuck yourself.
...to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck-loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022...
Oh no! They painted their nails!
Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making...
Is that the worst thing in the world?
...tweets such as, "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech."
Okay.
Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any..."
The fucking dramatic ass music in the background talking about someone presenting more female is crazy.
...resemblance, prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better," yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails. Chris had...
Like, as if in 2023, by the way, seeing someone, anybody, with painted nails is like the biggest scandal of all fucking time.
...to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Chris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now,
what we talked about in the previous video.
This was pretty ridiculous as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the together. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails.
Oh my god, for someone who doesn't care about someone, you're like analyzing their entire like fucking situation. Jesus, cringy. Fellas, is it femme to wear stripes?
Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media.
I wonder why.
And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing
because, oh my god, SunnyV2, it's not your life.
Up to the Kids' Choice Awards before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process.
He's like a crime scene analyst. Why do you go into so much detail about someone else's life? We're 3 minutes into this video and psychotic.
As for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have
So how do you read a tweet from someone who's like, this saved my life, and you're like, no it didn't. No it didn't.
Jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies, which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times. Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is..."
What a whole lot of nothing that was, that tweet. That was a whole lot of fucking nothing. That seriously was a whole lot about nothing. Yeah, what about strong women? No, because these people are incredibly misogynistic and they would never dare to think that a woman could be strong. What a shocking thought. It's even more shocking than a male presenting person wearing painted nails.
This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker. Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have for you in his life, as well as I adore that, I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family."
Like the most dramatic video I've ever seen in my life.
"And took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house. A life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure?" Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Safe. MrBeast responded to this with a...
It's like the most insecure people are the people that would like say that, right? Like, how insecure do you have to be like, oh my god, your friends accept you. Hopefully one day my friends will accept me. Like, that's what this reads as. So femme presenting people can't be good parents, apparently, because they're so scared of a woman doing anything.
Simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life." In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes," Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company.
So basically just speaking for a situation that you're not in, by the way. Like, all this video is speaking about, like, maybe this is how they feel. Maybe this is how they feel. You weren't there.
Yeah, maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being...
No, he just, like, said the reason why it was, like, awkward. They were busy doing something else while filming.
Him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
I did fan art. This is what we were looking for.
Jimmy tries to divert conversation in any way possible. So basically, friends having a conversation and it's now this elaborate thing. This video is literally, yeah, like editing to zoom in on faces and zoom in on whatever. You could do this with my stream. You could do this with any video ever. You could do it with happily married couples. You could do it. This is so stupid. It's like editing to fill your transphobic narrative.
Be brave, be honest, be kind. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama.
Look at this, like 30 million views on these hate videos.
Criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe.
What a stupid thing to say. Chris thinks that maybe someday people will accept them. Will that happen?
It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's
fairly unique. I hate to break it to these people, but this is not a fairly unique situation either. As much as they want to pretend that people who struggle with their gender identity don't exist, they do exist, and there's so many people.
Reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos.
So they're like giving arguments in Chris's defense and then being like, yeah, but that wouldn't happen. They'd be like, oh, this video, like, this may help a lot of people, but that won't happen. You know, there may be an audience that want to watch MrBeast because of this, but that won't happen. So this video is just dog shit.
MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience,
it's like, you don't need to struggle while you're saying
whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or
Right. I feel like that sentence really just, like, tells you everything you need to know.
Video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen...
You're insinuating. You're being like, the silent majority are really uncomfortable. If they're the silent majority, how do you know they're uncomfortable?
A situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my views if I got it.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's
not being banned over
position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content.
And is that... thank you for the tomatoes in chat. Can we get more of them? Like, seriously... I'm throwing them, but like, you're basically saying that like, oh, but why would we want someone to, you know, feel comfortable within themselves? This video is so stupid, it's dog shit.
Us annoying a different group of people.
Annoying a different group of people. By the way, Chris hasn't done anything except for appear in a video as more feminine.
Whom will never express their true feelings, and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos.
Okay. You're, again, insinuating that the silent majority you don't hear from feels that way.
If this is the case, Jimmy has...
What if the silent majority are loving it? Have we ever considered that?
No option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign.
Thank you. I mean, this is just... Chris exists. This guy. No! The transition is not for anyone to accept. It's literally not about anything other than Chris. Why do these haters care so much? Yeah, it's psychotic.
Himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
This exact type of drama, by the way, thank you Golden Girls, being yourself. What an awful video. Like, genuinely, what an awful, awful video. Okay. What a disaster of a video.
If you stop watching someone because of them being happier, that just says something about you. Insecure little waste of human biomass.
Yep. How cringy.